All right, so we'll call to order the special meeting for the Open Government Commission. Madam Clerk, if you can take the roll.
Thank you. Chair Samavia,
Here.
Commissioners McCauley, here, Benz, here, Cooley, and Sandu.
Good. Next agenda topic is item 3, presentation for public comments by members of the public on items not on the agenda. Are there any public comments?
I have no speakers.
Okay, so we'll move to the next agenda item, which is the consent calendar. And in the agenda packet, we had last meeting minutes, so I'll go to any commissioners if there's any recommended changes or discussion on the draft minutes. We'll entertain a motion.
I move that we accept the minutes.
Commissioner Benz moves.
Second.
Commissioner Colley seconds. Roll call.
Chair Samavia,
Yes.
Commissioners Benz,
Yes.
and McCauley.
Yes.
And the motion passes. Unfinished business. Reports of subcommittees. In summary, we called the special meeting really to focus on our Open Government Week and those agenda items and tasks that are associated with that Open Government Week that we're proposing for November 17th through the 21st. So that brings us to our main topic, item 5.2 for Open Government Week. And I updated the staff report, just kind of highlighting the items that we've already covered and the items that are pending. The two big points on that are our council correspondence, where the commission is asking the council to consider and approve our request and draft proclamation to declare the 17th through the 21st Open Government Week. So you'll see that in your agenda packet. And then the second item is the draft proclamation. So those we'll be looking for a motion to transmit to City Council and approve those. Another item that I included that wasn't in our last meeting's packet is I just wanted to visualize what the week, based on our discussions and what we've considered since our last meeting. So I highlighted the calendar of events for each day of our Open Government Week, starting with our presentation to City Council. And that'll include them providing us the proclamation. We'll receive it, our annual report, which I'll give. And then later on in our discussion today, we'll talk about translation services, which, if everything lines up and garners approval, that'll also make it onto the City Council's agenda. On Tuesday, one of the reasons I selected Tuesday as the Ask a Commissioner date was when I looked at Google Analytics, Tuesday was like their busiest day at the library. So that's kind of the snapshot I put on there for you, and the busiest times of that Tuesday. So I kind of honed in two-hour sessions where we could, take questions from the public, kind of show them if they wanted to learn how to do an open public or open records request. We could show them, how to use the portal and things like that. And then on Wednesday was all about civic engagement. And this was that line of effort called Civic Engagement Education, where we would target educational environment, one, some, or all. It's a big Gilroy Unified School District, kind of a compressed week. So we'll talk a little bit about that, where we want to focus our energies. Thursday, not to steal any thunder from the appreciation dinner, so I wanted to highlight that out on our calendar of events. And then the last would be a letter to the editor. I've started drafting a letter to the editor just to highlight the 17th anniversary of open government, what we had planned for the weeks, and then mainly to let the public know there is an open government and why it's open government commission and why it's significant. So that's a summary of where we're at. Compared,
Question. I'm sorry, and
Oh.
let me interrupt, I thought that was.
Oh, no
When you're
problem.
done, let me know now.
oh yeah, so yeah, I'm done now.
So there's a lot of events in here,
Right.
so a couple of things, one, I would recommend actually removing the boards and commissions appreciation dinner from the list. Cause we don't wanna present to the public or to other commissions that it's being subsumed under the commission week, so
Got
I would recommend removing that one.
Okay.
But appreciate the effort to keep the attention on it, but I just worry about others getting. Oh,
Yeah.
hold on, that's, that's a council thing.
Every
to-
commissioner will be on a dinner.
Yeah. Could be interesting there. The letter to the editor, is the letter to the editor from the commission or from you as an individual?
The idea was to have it from the commission.
Okay. I don't, so there's a couple of things that, the educating civic engagement with the school district. So council's never seen this as a listed item. So I want to make sure, is that in the letter? Trying to remember if that was in the letter for the council for the correspondence. Or were those?
It's not.
Identified, okay. So that's the one thing, it's again, just aside from the appeal process for Public Records Act requests, the commission's activities are entirely advisory. So these are implementing actions, which is fine, but you have to get council approval before implementing that. So I want to make sure that I would recommend, if you're gonna approve the recommendation or the recommendation for response for council, that if that's gonna, assume the commission approves it, then it would get approved with amendments to identify those things that you want the commission to do. So that way, if council approves it, it goes forward, then you actually have authorization to undertake those things.
Okay.
The translation services presentation. So one of the things is timing on this, and so when the correspondence goes to council, it goes in the correspondence section agenda. It's up to the counselor to take it up at that point to come back with a fair memo to agendize the council meeting. So you kind of mentioned that before, but I just want to kind of stress that there's a really tight timeline. So I don't want that to be missed, and then just
Yeah.
that awareness of that that approach. But like the annual report is a normal course and scope. The proclamation request process, you can send it just directly to the mayor. So through this process is fine, and it's up to him to take it. There's not the same process as with a business item.
Yeah.
So that those the top 1, 2, 3 things are fine. The others are dependent on the council for taking it up and going through that process.
Got it.
Make sure.
Now, as far as like the going to the library and you sitting there and
Having a table,
is
that's just like ask a commissioner, right?
that's what I thought, but
That one's probably okay.
okay.
Because other commissions do table at community events. So that's fine, as long as the real one for this, like the ask commissioner is fine. The education engagement is a little bit different because we're interjecting into another government organization. And so that gets to the point where it's kind of more like you're representing the city in a way,
Yeah.
so we need to get some permission.
Now,
to do that.
what if we
And
did
then the
something
letter to the editor is another thing, so it's.
similar, like setting up a booth at the student center at GAV? Passive,
As long as Gav's okay with it, yeah, that's fine. We have that happening with a couple of other commissions, not necessarily Gav specific. but
that's
events.
enough,
yeah,
just setting, yeah, I think that's the direction.
that would be our two. Just
Okay.
passively sitting there if the public comes to us and asks us, hey, and not like go stand in front of a school and preach
Yeah,
about
Yeah,
open
yeah,
government.
yeah.
You know,
Go stand in
it's,
front.
if you have
I'm trying to think, I mean,
questions,
it's,
yeah,
it's.
But whichever
Yeah, I think, the safest.
approval
I
authority.
say I'll put it all in the letter.
Okay.
The approval, and then, but I think the like the ask of, like just having a table being there to be, it'd be different if you're going and saying, hey, we want to put in programming into your areas, that's where it gets a little more.
Gotcha.
Cause we don't let other people come in and do programming with our stuff.
No, we usually invite them. We'll take a request and then we'll consider it. So that's thing, but like as actually programming, yeah, we're really.
I have a question about, and I should have popped up sooner, but the translation, what's wrong with the city's translation? So
Let's start.
Yeah, so we have spent since January interviewing 17 Latino organizations. Diane and I sit in the council meetings for the last 2.5 years. So the Wordly is not good.
It's not adequate.
It's
It's a
not
different
accurate.
Spanish.
It doesn't keep real time, and it's hard to read. So we got a lot of different community organizations and people to tell us what we could do better. And then I went to the Salinas City Council meeting, Watsonville, San Jose, to see and actually San Jose is trying to get their live translation back after they went to Wordly, because it's just not adequate. I got that from the translators. I went to the school board meetings. All the school board meetings have live translation. So it's something that we could slowly get into. We don't have to make a huge commitment. We could actually do a year. It's a 2-hour minimum. The translator that we use often, she lives in Gilroy. So it's not like we have to make a huge investment to just start to get that rolling. And then Zach sent out a memo with district elections. So this is also a really important component of making open government and having people have access to the meetings. So when we market, he's starting to market the districts. We can also start to market that there will be live Spanish translation to try to encourage that community to come to the meetings, because they have not felt welcome, and we have a majority Latino population. So that's kind of where we're at with it. And we're just.
One thing that we had discussed, and Rochelle had brought it up to Brad, was about us getting some iPads for the Wordly, because we realized that sometimes it scrolls too fast and all they're looking at is what's on the screen. And we do have a QR code that they can scan and do it on their phone, but I know the phone's kind of small. But as like a temporary fix, he said if it's not hard for the clerk to handle, we would get 3 or 4 iPads up at the clerk desk, that if somebody needed, we'd have it Wordly set up on them so that they could kind of go at their own pace. And once the wording's gone.
So that would overcome nobody can see it and it's going too fast, but it doesn't overcome that it's the wrong language. So
The translations, and then.
Yeah, it's
public
really bad.
comment is a big problem.
Right.
So people we've entered afraid to make public comment. When we have Anna here, which it was interesting because during the district meetings, suddenly Gilroy had a live translator, and suddenly we had a live translator for just that agenda item. And that did not go over well with our Latino population, because now suddenly we've decided that we have a live translator at this one item, and then the headsets were actually collected. There were
Yeah.
people who were like, no, I want to
That
stay
we're
for the
still
rest
here.
of the meeting. So the population is seeing this, and we can fix it so easily. We can fix it so that people will make public comment. There was a meeting where our newspaper reporter actually got up and corrected the translation. So she was making a comment in Spanish, and the translation came up in English, and he said, "That's not right. That's not what she said." And that's important because this is open government, right? So I think we can slow roll into it. It doesn't have to be this big, massive, multi-thousands of dollars, but just to start maybe in 2026 with a 2-hour guarantee that we start to market. We get the nonprofits and the Latino organizations knowing, hey, this is coming, and then package it with district elections. And that's how they started in Salinas. So I talked to the translator there, And she said, that's how we started here. We just said, okay, let's start with for 2 hours. If it goes over, obviously they need 2 translators. If we create communication with the groups and they say, we want a translator for the entire meeting. So for example, if there's an issue that comes up and, Jorge says, then we would implement that. But other than that, we can just start with the minimum. And so that's kind of where,
So
It's
it's
also
going
not
back to the
costly.
live person as the translator instead of the.
Mhm.
yeah, they almost. Nobody, it's just not worth it. It's like this. It's your birthday and somebody gives you a hamburger with a candle on it. And they say, here's your cake. Well, we gave you something, but it's not a cake. It's not even close. And so we're doing it's almost worse. I mean, we've
It is
talked to
worse.
a lot of people where it's like, well, we checked the box and we're gonna give you the best access to the worst translation. And so then no one, they don't come. I mean, because they know that it's not working. And the other thing is in our, 150 years of being incorporated, the first time we even had a service, Wordly, is 2023. So that's, so all of that time, we haven't accommodated our Spanish speaking population at all. So we're not gonna totally be
I
dismantled.
do need to correct that.
Okay,
Because we have had on agendas and has happened in the past, which makes request a translation, so in the past before Wordly, so we'll call them a translator, so. I just want to make sure that
okay.
we're clear on that we did.
Translate. Sit with the person in the audience and.
No.
No, they have headsets.
Have
Yeah.
headsets.
So-
Cause when I was, interim in Merced for 2+ years, it was. When they say interim, that's not.
Yeah.
That's a long interim.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
That's like a marriage.
Yeah, so, they had the Spanish speaker and the interpreter, and she would sit there with like the small little group and just whisper and translate it. And they also had, someone that spoke Tom. And because they have a big population there.
Mhm.
So there'd be like this one group over here and one group over there and, translating, but, not real loud. So they would all sit there and listen, and then, and they would sometimes then ask questions after they understood what was going on and stuff like that. So it's funny because in the old days, you had a real physical translator there. And then they went to.
It's the best. It's Salinas, it's all the city council meetings that have a live translator. And we have the headsets, so. in
So there's no
Salinas,
outlet. Yeah,
Yeah,
you
they-
don't hear them at all.
you don't hear them at all, so Salinas, they put them on the front desk, it's clearly labeled, people go pick them up. At the beginning of the meeting, they have staff that can speak Spanish, but our translator could say, in Spanish, this is the protocol. And people just put the headsets back, so we don't even need a staff to manage it.
Right.
It's not too complicated.
It's interesting that the technology didn't make it better.
But there's too many, this is like what you would learn in school, the Catalonian or
Yeah.
the Spanish.
Billions. But
Castilian,
Not
yes,
Castilian.
yes.
that no one speaks.
Yeah.
Except if you're in Buffalo.
And your relatives just laugh at you because they don't know what you're saying. Yes, I lived it. And this honestly is not that expensive
No,
to have a live person. And she has her husband who's like a partner in the business. It's their business to do that. And they're both Gilroy people. So, but also Anne Marie and I also feel like it fits in with, the ask, it fits in with the Gilroy ordinance 17, let's see, city code chapter 17A.1 sub 2. Part of it is so that every citizen can know and participate in democracy at the local level. And we feel like that's not true right now. And it needs to be, if that is actually a goal of the city council of the city, I think, it's something that needs to get done. I'm not even sure why it would take so long to do it. I mean,
Well, it may not even need a council vote so they can get the memo. I mean, it can be dealt with by staff. So we'll just see. what the
unless one of them
council-
wants to take it up.
You know, or Greg might, we've talked about it with them,
Mhm.
so. It's just getting this out there so that we can start the ball rolling, but it's not like we have to have live translation for every single thing. We've got to get the community used to it.
Right.
And that is a big part of what they did in the other cities when I asked the translators, okay, this is something that takes time. But it's been asked for, so,
Mhm.
So, Bryce, the city council would have to give approval for that, right?
So
Like
the,
budget wise and that kind of stuff.
if it's not something that could be absorbed in existing appropriation, so the recommendation when it's issued from the commission goes to both the city administrator and to the council, so. It's possible if there's enough appropriation and that the city administrator wants to take that on. But he may also, since it's a policy, it's regarding the council meetings, he may want to defer to the council. But again, I really can't speak for him on
Budget.
that side, so we got.
And really, our action tonight is simply to take the council correspondence, decide whether the commission wants to push that forward, which is item 4. So I'll ask that we jump right back to item 2 for Open Government Week, just so we can settle that agenda topic, and then we'll return back to translation services. So regarding Open Government Week, we have the draft council correspondence, the draft proclamation. Based on staff's recommendation, I can definitely include in the council correspondence the activities, and I kind of summarized them. I'll just include as attachments along with the schedule so they know exactly what we're doing. And include that in our council correspondence. So.
And it may be beneficial if we have a draft of the letter to the
Editorial.
editor. That might give them a little comfort about what's going in the paper and representing the city commission.
Okay,
Just for information, though, they're not in a position
We'll
to
give them-
approve or
give-
disapprove.
Oh, yes, they can approve, disapprove.
Oh,
Yeah, because you're asking to be on record as part of a commission that's advisory to
oh,
the
as
council.
opposed to, right, I got
Right,
it.
you don't
Okay.
have independent representation rights on behalf of the city, so that's
Yeah.
why you have to get their approval on anything on that kind of public declaration.
Mhm.
So will this commission review the draft letter before it goes out and vote on it?
That's a good.
Well, we
point.
have another meeting.
yeah, we have another special meeting and another regular meeting before
Yeah.
the
And
event.
so it should be on the agenda that you reviewed and this is
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
sounds doable.
because you can't speak unless a majority want to.
That's true.
Right.
That's true.
So can we go to public comment on this agenda item?
There are no speakers.
Perfect. Any other questions, discussions on Open Government Week so far?
So once this goes to council, they'll say, this looks good, or we want to alter this, and then we decide when we want to show up together, a schedule for this.
You mean at the location?
Yeah.
Yeah, the tables, yeah.
Yeah, that's assuming that once council takes it and says to proceed.
Mhm.
So until then, there's no authorization for it.
Got it.
So if you approve this tonight to go to council correspondence and are you revising your,
He's got to revise.
when you send it to me, then I can probably add it on the 6th agenda, correct? As council
Correct.
correspondence on October 6th.
Oh, perfect.
But the time is.
But
timing
we
is-
would,
I don't know.
Yeah,
I would
next
need
week.
it by tomorrow,
Okay,
because we're
We just-
publishing the agenda Monday.
You just have to take out
Yeah.
just a little bit, right? Like the calendar item.
yeah. I mean, the only other thing would be getting the editorial.
Yeah, that would be a challenge.
But we could do that at our emergency meeting.
But
See, the
First
mayor
He
is
wants it included.
and
All of it.
head of the representation, would it be possible, I guess would it be out of class for them to defer the review to the mayor? I mean, it's not-
The letter,
yeah, because the mayor can issue and issue declarations on behalf, so maybe like essentially delegating the authority to the commission on the actual specific verbiage of the letter itself. Council still approves them issuing a letter.
and then have
And then
it
the
subject to
mayor-
the review and
the
approval of the
mayor.
mayor, if they all seem
If they'll
kumbaya
stick
and
with
say
that one,
yes.
yeah. So that would be the way to basically proceed with that.
Okay,
To have that approval of the language be by the mayor, so the council.
Yeah, they approve the letter, but then the actual letter itself, subject to review and approval.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, so, okay, yeah, so council approves the issuance of a letter, the mayor approves the content of the letter.
Okay.
That might be the way to go. It's, yeah, it's the way I can wrap it in my head to
A little
do
quicker.
that way, yeah.
so I can, make those changes.
I can
So-
get it, you can send it by Monday morning, that helps, because I will post the agenda Monday afternoon.
Okay, so besides including the schedule of events and a summary, hey, here's what that action or that event includes, the letter to the editor?
So it'll be like, the concept of the letter to the editor that they can approve or not approve, and then subject to the mayor reviewing and approving the language.
Yeah, so essentially the way that it makes sense to me anyway, and Julie can correct me if I go off base here. Would be that the commission tonight would consider the letter correspondence to the council. And then motion second, if the commission approves it, would be to amend the document here, approve with amendments to include the schedule of events. Description what the events are that you're going to partake to get council proof of that, including a letter to the editor. And you're asking the council to approve the issuance of the letter, and the content of the letter will be reviewed and approved by the mayor. I think that's the procedural process.
Yeah, that's a good way to get it
Yeah.
in time.
At least, yeah, moving forward.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, without saying exactly.
So moved.
Yeah. So that would be my motion.
I second it.
To approve
To
the
draft.
The
correspondence.
Correspondence proclamation draft.
changes.
with the recommended amendments or changes, yeah.
Okay.
With staff changes.
Yeah, with staff changes.
Okay, so I could second that.
Okay.
Recommendations,
With staff record.
recommendation, no?
With
Well,
staff
coming from the
considerations.
So I know that's why it's your vote on the letter. So these are yours. We should identify clarifications up to you to whether you make it part of your letter. So you could issue the letter just as it is. We're just to make recommendations, but ultimately it's the commission.
Yeah.
I just want to make sure that for the record, that's the distinction. So it's not with staff recommendations, it's
Yeah,
commission's decisions on amending it.
yes.
So we have the motion
Okay.
by the chair.
And second,
Seconded by
Diana. And
Commissioner Benz.
Chair Samavia,
Yes,
Commissioner Benz,
yes,
and McCall.
Yes.
and the motion passes. Feedback loop, Bryce, when, will they come back and say, hey, your proclamation's gonna go, we're teeing it up?
So the proclamation and the report are different processes.
Okay.
So the proclamation, once we get, now that we have a draft, we just send to the mayor. And the mayor has the discretion about what proclamations go forward. That's it. I mean, well, usually it's sent to the mayor and city clerk, so you would send.
Okay.
Yeah. And then the annual report would be obviously similar, 5 slides, 5-minute kind of approach that we normally have. And that's put on the agenda automatically, so we have that process. Anything in addition to that would be in that letter need their approval before proceeding.
Perfect. Okay, so that closes item 5.2. Or completes the actions we had scheduled tonight. Item 5.3, open government ordinance training. And in summary, where we left off during our last meeting, regular meeting, we had the slides put together. Sections 1 through 4 were complete, half of which we had the audio portion done. That's all been completed. It's now 55 slides. I timed it just starting, not advancing it. It'll advance by itself if you want to listen to all the audio. It was 26 minutes and 44 seconds. And covered pretty much the open government ordinance kind of from table of contents until the end. So
Did you put a certification at the back of it?
there's a link where they click on the link and it takes them to the declaration where they have to say, hey, I completed the open government, and that includes the clerk's email address. So yeah. So the idea was if approved, by staff, it'd hang on the website, and when a commissioner gets appointed, go to the website, do the training. Their 2-year mark, go to the website, do the training. Again,
I don't know who keeps track of it. Do you keep track of whether they're all done by all the commissioners and?
that's what the open government ordinance says,
Yeah.
and it's available for public inspection.
Oh, okay.
So
It's gonna be blank for the last probably couple of years.
But then it surge once,
Yeah.
Yeah.
whatever's training's
Yeah.
done
Yeah.
and.
Yeah,
bust.
I think this is a good way
Matters for you,
to
so.
present it to people. So I have to do continuing legal education through our law firm. We have some mandatory stuff. And you can't progress unless you actually, the program deems that you've spent enough time to actually read it. And then at the end, you have to answer a few questions. But it just goes by. It's really efficient.
yeah. So that's quick summary before we move to questions from the commissioners. I'll open up for public comment.
No speakers.
Perfect. Any other questions or discussion from?
I liked it.
I do too. really
I took it and it was way better than watching that dark, hard to hear video.
Well, with all the people talking in the background.
Yeah, it was good. And I think that actually it could be interesting to find a way to know you log in and you know who's taking the training, and
Yeah.
that could be good. I think it's really good though.
Is there, have you had a chance to look at it, Jolie? I'm just wondering if you see anything that's missing. That's essential.
It says the city attorney does all training.
Well,
Yeah, no, it's in the ordinance, so I'm not sure, so this is just gonna be an online, we just click and, yeah. I'm surprised that it only takes 26 minutes. The very dense PowerPoint, it's just
it is.
it's just the ordinance.
Yeah.
I need to look through it to make sure that it has, everything in there that's been changed. When I looked through it, I didn't see anything about appeals. And,
For public record appeals?
You mean when they
Yeah.
get denied?
yeah.
Yeah,
and
it's
then-
in there.
Yeah, I was looking for that because that was a change. So we changed the appeal process, I know, after we had one appeal. So. Yeah, anyway,
Yeah, slide 28, 29, and 30.
these aren't numbered,
Oh, that's on mine.
yeah. This is public information, contracts.
And it should be under section 3. If department head refuses or fails to comply or completely complies with the request, requester may petition the city administrator in writing 45 calendar days of the department head's response or the expiration of the department head's period of response. If no response is provided, city administrator shall inform the petitioner as soon as possible and within 30 calendar days, a petition, whether requested record or any part of the requested record is public. And then it comes to the Open Government Commission, person making the request within 45 days of the city administrator's denial or expiration of the city administrator's 30 calendar day period to act upon the petition the Open Government Commission for determination.
Yeah, because in the original one, there were time period for the city to respond, but there wasn't reciprocal of like when the petitioner had to submit something.
Oh,
And so working through it, it was when Tom Haglund was the city administrator.
oh my,
That was that long ago. We had one appeal. But anyway, it was really kind of clunky. And I said, once we get through this appeal, we're gonna give it kind of balance. You know, you get 30, we get 30, 45 days, you know, this and that. No, I'm gonna look through this some more. One of the contract bids and proposals. I'm not sure if that's accurate as it is in the ordinance. Contract bids responses to request proposals shall be after the contract is awarded. That's for the RFPs. And then it speaks to RFP, they've been completed, the evaluation forms shall be available. I think we need to kind of look at that because we don't release RFP responses until after the contract is awarded, which is here. So, yeah, I need to look at that because I think it's flipped. So the RFPs shall be made available, contracts, bids, and then its responses to proposals shall be open after the contract is awarded. That's for RFPs. And then for contracts, it's different. Once the contract, the public works contract is, and the bids are open, those bids immediately can be reviewed by the public. So I think this is, what we don't want to, and the basis for that is, and there's case law on it, you don't want the RFP responses to go out until you finally negotiate the contract. Because if number one wins the proposal, the negotiations fall through, then if everything's out in the open, you're bidding against yourself. And I've actually had that happen before where, yeah, very awkward, but for public works, it's very objective, lowest bidder, responsive and responsible. So those numbers get out there immediately and then people can protest.
And I'd say,
Yeah.
Jolie, as well, when you get the file, you're just looking at the slide, but we also include the reference to the OGO and then the narrative that governs the recording. So that'll also kind of point you to where the content came from that put the slide together.
Okay, I'm gonna, that's one that really stuck out. I think we actually, yeah, so, no, so this is going to be just online and everybody will take it, a lot of the commissioners will take it, commissioners will take it, and.
Well, it's if that's what the city attorney's office approves. Because so basically the way this would work is that this essentially is a recommendation to staff really at this point.
Yes.
It's to the city attorney's office, and then it's up to the city attorney since the ordinance identifies that the city attorney's office is the one that approves and conducts the training. Maybe if it meets, I guess technically you're in Andy's,
purview.
purview, yeah. Trying to think of the right things. I'm blocking at the end of the day for some reason, yeah.
It's a long day.
So what is the training before?
It was the tape.
It was in-person training provided, And then we ended up taping it and then people could watch the tape. And then I believe Shauna updated it with a different training that I don't think I was involved with. But
The
Yeah, I
one-
saw one training that had, it was, yeah, it was another meeting. And yeah, it was Shauna conducting the training, I think.
yeah,
But the one I saw, the one that was on the city's website for the longest time, I think was the one that you presented, I
Yeah,
think.
that's the
So
one I
use that
remember.
one as the default. I only found the one with Sean because it was one of the meetings that was recorded when planning, I think it was a planning commission meeting. Or maybe city council. But even then that one was pretty dated and, you know, hard to.
Yeah.
see.
It just was the wrong setting to try to record so other people could come back and watch it. Because, you know, there's a whole audience and people, you know, wrestling and making noise. It was very difficult to hear the whole thing.
And we did get feedback, where people weren't being asked to complete the 2-year requirement.
Yeah.
So
Most
it
people
is
didn't.
initial within 60 days and then, oh, I didn't know there was a refresher requirement. So that was kind of one of the reasons we thought, hey, let's start focusing on training, maybe as a possible solution, but not to,
yeah. And then the one thing that I wanted to check is the weighing and balancing. It says there's no exception. And I don't know what slide this is. It says the public interest in withholding the information outweighs the public interest in disclosure, and that. I know the old number, I still don't know the new numbers, but that was the 6255 weighing and balancing. And we got that back.
It came back
It came back. And it came back.
because it's reasonable.
It came back after SB 1421 with the police records that had a lot of weighing and balancing for privacy interests of people that would be released. If there's cameras, video cam, or certain things in some of the records that could be released, we'd be able to redact for privacy interests in weighing and balancing.
Mhm.
So, yeah, we did that after SB 1421. I went back and found the ordinance today. We did that actually as an urgency ordinance to get it in there because we were getting inundated by all these 1421 records. And so we wanted, even though the statute said it would be weighing and balancing, I wanted it taken out of our code so we would be able to rely on that because it was so important for those records. Yes. I'm gonna double check.
okay.
No, and so this is just going to be like an online click.
Click, click, click.
Okay. I'll talk to Andy about it and, yeah, so.
It'd be easy to update that too, like as things change.
Yeah, because one of the first sections in there that we included was the last change, which came out of the
The renumbering.
paragraphing, yeah, renumbering the paragraphs.
Chair of the Public Records Committee and during that time. And we wrote letters when it was just in the legislative committee session
Mhm.
part before it even went up. And then it kind of died during COVID and then they brought it back. But we opposed the renumbering and they didn't listen to us. We did get a few things.
That was
But-
awful.
Yeah, and it was really awful and we could not get support from, we tried to get Sheriff's Association, Police Chiefs Association, the POAs. You know, we were like, do you know what they're doing to 6254F? It's now split up so far you can't. And then we also tried to get county CSAC involved. And we tried to get the Clerks Association involved and they said, well, we support what the CPRA committee's doing. And it was funny because when it finally went to the legislature, CSAC, the counties, council, their group,
Mhm.
they were calling me like crazy, like, when did, what happened? We want to oppose this. And I mean, I sent them all our letters from like 4 years earlier. And I'm like, where were you guys?
Yeah.
Cause I swear I felt that, cause I was chair and we would talk about it and then I had to write these letters. And they would consider it, and they did consider a few things. We did get a few little victories. But it was crazy, and I don't know why. They said it was confusing. And what they did was make it even
I
more.
was gonna say, so they fixed it by making it more confusing.
Yeah, it was crazy. So that was Ty's cleanup.
Yeah.
There was another amendment when, and it was in the closed session section when they changed the Brown Act for pending litigation. They changed section 3, facts and circumstances. They renumbered it. And so when it used to be 3-2 or 3-3, now it's 4D or something. They renumbered it. So that was one of the changes, but there really haven't been that too many changes. There was the change when the council members were not on the commission. And then that changed the terms and
So this one is just,
for training, and all the commissions would take this when they're new, like our
Yes.
new planning commissioner.
Or every 2 years.
Yeah,
And employees.
yeah.
so I need to. But yeah.
And then certify to yourself that you've taken it.
But this presentation was just to receive the report, really no action other than if you'd like to review it and then
Yeah, there were just a
determine.
couple things that I was like, and that's why I got all the old ordinances, just, those were the ones that I drafted, yeah, so. Except for the one Ty did, yeah, just to make sure, and I know, because we did do an amendment about, the RFPs and contracts, because there was some stuff in there that was not good, like you would get the scores and the everything from an RFP even before the contract was awarded and that was,
Yeah, that's.
you know.
All right. So any other questions on
This has been helpful for me to understand how this works.
open government training? All right, so we'll move on to item 5.4, which we're kind of circling the wagons back to city council translation services. The draft,
Do we have a
Council-
staff reports?
what, no.
No. So, yeah, we wouldn't. So typically the commissions do the work with the advisory, and so we're actually looking for your report.
Yeah.
That's what we should have.
So we had a draft council correspondence during our last meeting. We tabled action until this, so we could include it in the agenda. That's now been included. I think we made a minor change to the council correspondence, but I'll hand it over to you two if you have any. Well, actually, let's go to public comment first.
Have no speakers.
Okay, and then we'll go.
So it's, I mean, it's pretty much what
We-
we had
Yeah.
talked about. I will send you, because I did talk to one of the translators today. I have a little more information on how we could simplify it and do a pilot program. So that isn't in there, but I would like to just add that.
So my only question would be if we vote to move this forward, could you explain the process again? It'd be a council member who would get it, have to determine.
Yeah, so this one, it would go to both the city administrator as well as council. And the council correspondence will be on the agenda, so if you're in the agenda packet. And then it's up to either, so the city administrator would have the ability, if all the conditions are correct and he feels comfortable and confident that he's meeting council's intent. And what's good for the order on the operation side, can take that up himself if there's budget, if there's certain appropriations related to that. The other course is where if a council member takes that up and does a fair memo and basically brings a future agenda item request to council to take that up, and in which case then it's kind of like any other business item, staff prepare a report, council then deliberate and decide what direction it would put.
And the memo, just to highlight, is simply requesting to present to city council our recommendation for translation services. So it's up that, it would be that fair memo or city administrator approving the briefing essentially, right?
Correct. So, yeah, and then so since it's requesting to be briefing to the council, it would probably be deferred to the council to make that decision just because it's their business items
Yeah.
actually, right? But again, it's up to Brad at the same time or interim city administrator to decide if he wants to try to take on an administrative role.
Now, on the administrative side, if one of these council correspondence is approved, do I send that?
So what typically happens is that there's a council correspondence, which I think you've used. And so what will happen is that, once we have the final and clean version with any amendments or changes approved by the commission, then you would send that to the city clerk in this case. Each commission would send their staff liaison to process, and so then
Perfect.
they'll be sent through DocuSign to, or yourself as the sign as the chair, and the city clerk to sign as the staff liaison. And then at that point, it's incorporated to an agenda, assuming, that's where we're kind of talking about the time frame to make sure
Yeah.
it takes it to the next council meeting agenda. And then at the same time, then transmit also city district.
Got it. I still got my training wheels on, so I want to make sure I'm not dropping any balls here.
You were doing
So
a fine job.
I appreciate it. All right, so any other questions from commissioners regarding the council correspondence or regarding the topic of translation services?
I think we've covered it.
Perfect.
Yeah, good
All right, so I'll entertain a motion.
motion.
Motion made by Macaulay,
Second.
seconded by Crowley. Roll call.
Chair Smavia,
Yes.
Commissioner Spence,
Yes.
Crowley.
Yes.
And Macaulay.
Yes.
Thank you.
All right. And that motion passes to approve the council correspondence and transmit to city council. Item 6, future commission initiated agenda items. Any commissioners have any? And then city administrator update, if there are any.
No, yeah,
And prior to adjournment, just a reminder, our next meeting is a special meeting, 23rd of October, Thursday at 15th or 5:30 here in the chambers. And again, it's focusing on Open Government Week and tying up any loose ends right before that.
Is that 10/28 or 11/20? You said,
23rd.
oh, 23.
All right, so that concludes our meeting.
Over. So the Law Foundation case is going to be heard sometime at the past Supreme Court. Not